Guess I'm about to go live. Um, so I'm about 5 minutes late. Oh, I'm 8 minutes late. And I actually wanted to have a couple of things in front of me. Just want to grab my cell phone. And I want to just grab a couple of things. So I'm still here. I'm still here. You'll see my messy room, which I'll tell you about that in a second. Okay, where did you go? Let's see. Hang on, I'm coming. I'm sort of coming. I'm a little cold, actually. I'm gonna put that on. I'm rearranging this room. I'm rearranging another room to serve my art, and so I don't feel like I'm in a college dorm with two extra roommates too much. And there's something I wanted to read to you for empowerment, and I knew where it was, and now that I've rearranged stuff, it's very, very tricky. Let's see. Okay, so it's not that. It's not that. Yeah, I think it's over here. Oh, I think. I hope it's in one of these. And I'm gonna go through some stuff. Woo! Alright, already. Already. A mess. Hey, but this is like when you coming out of food poisoning, missing a day, trying to organize everything. And then when you get tired, you just don't want to do something. But also, I live with an elder dad, and so I would make the noise I need to make, but trying to respect him because he's sensitive. So, about having his way. All right. I think I'm okay, good to go. So let's see. Today is Thursday, the day after a big event happened in DC. And today I'll be speaking in some kind of, the language of perhaps making up a story because I have written in the past. Oh, okay. My father's leaving the house, so I can speak even louder. And isn't it, you get. He was very much for another side and not on the side that I'm on. So I live in a household that's been divided, and people have not wanted to be open for discussion, just open for blame. And even if you had an answer or don't have an answer, you were like, you're just a blah, blah, blah. So anyways, let's get to what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about declaration, staying bright. I wanted to offer some information. I still want to offer some other things that I have found from Patriots, which were helpful. I will give a shout to a few people. I will report on my art, but basically, I don't even know if the background's going to look the same, if I'm changing things around this way, or just going through drawers, going through where I really want to work on my art pieces and my journals and cards and have the room to do that. So I'm utilizing the extra bedroom that we have, taking advantage right now for the bedroom set that didn't sell, and just putting things in those drawers, and I have to label because if I can't see it, I don't remember where it is. This is just so many little things that I have that I need to categorize so I can reach for them easily. And then in works in progress, you sort of want to have a long space. So my space hasn't been my space. And even the way that I thought I would categorize things in the smushed bedroom studio, it just wasn't working. And I was feeling overwhelmed in the sense that I can't operate like this. It's not feeling creative. I need to be in the flow. So anyway, I'm making those changes. Now I'm going to report on my K2 stone, which I wonder if it can even show you how. Let's see, that's just, I don't really see it very well, do you? Anyway, there's this wire, and this part is going pretty well. I may still have to undo it, because again, the cat, I have two cats, and they love these things. It's like I can hardly work on them. They're over and they're making an excuse too. They're bothering me. But you're wrapping the wire around, and then this part will go on the bottom of the heart, I'll be lifting up the sides and separating the wires. So some will be in the front, some will be in the back. They come together at the top, make a loop, wire up the loop. But it'll all depend on the space, which I've used some extra wire because of the size of the stone, choosing this particular wrap that I like on my smaller stones. Um, I like how some of the space has come out. I don't like how all of it looks so on this side. So I may undo it. It's kind of tricky because I don't know if I, just so it wouldn't catch, I may have put the, I'll put the not the wrench, but the pliers to it. So just see a little bit of a space, and it's not like a huge break the deal thing, but you know, I can go back a few loops. So this today, I hope to finish and finally show you the finished, and be able to wear it on a rope. And I still have to order the bits for my fixing jewelry. And I think I'll be able to find that out today and to just go ahead and order some stuff and take the chance that I'm ordering the right thing. Some of it you can see, some of it goes by size. Sometimes you just don't know if you haven't done it before. And I'm also looking back to see if this other jeweler has emailed me back. So I'm in the middle of doing whatever. So anyway, I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about declaration, which maybe a long time ago I covered it, and I think it's a good time to revisit a declaration. And a declaration is a statement of power, pretty much. And sometimes if you belong to certain prosperity groups, encouraging groups, I wouldn't say just metaphysical groups. I think there were groups called like est, whatever that stands for, and just different groups that they're teaching you leadership skills. And one of the things that they do is to declare, make a declaration. And often I'd heard a long time ago in taking a look at crystals and angels, you want to invite in on purpose that help that you are so calling for. So when you want the infinite, majestic seraphims, the higher archangels or the ascended masters, yes, call them in. But also when you declare, I decree, you hear a lot of different like pastors, I declare this to be true, and it's true for you, boom, and you're healed. They channel it through, they will it for you, your soul and belief in alignment, boom, you have that experience of you're touched, or you're clear, you're healed, or you have an epiphany. So that's what I wanted to bring up today, because I'm familiar with that. And if I can also find it real quick, I may have it in a smaller book. Hang on one second. I'm cold, so I'm gonna put on a hat. If I can find it very quickly. I have a small pink book, and I don't know where it is. Right. Oh yes, I do. I see it right there. Hang on. One second. One second. I'm coming. This was right in front of me. Thank you, folks. Thank you. All right. I didn't want to turn on the heater because I didn't know if it would make noise enough to go over me. So, okay, Yahoo. I'm thinking that this may have a declaration in it. And if it doesn't, this is really cool. This book comes from a woman named Toni, Toni. I think her last name is Stone. She is in Vermont. I'm trying to think of the studio where you could, or her website where you could take a look at some of her work, which I believed, based on different things like some unity trainings and different, empowerment groups that she may have taken. And whether she got certified in it or not, I don't know, but she's been a very big prosperity teacher at one time. I liked a lot of things that she had to do and say. Some things I think were still based on lack in terms of some of the things that they held you to task task to me was still based on power, fear, and lack. But that was me. I didn't fit into the herd completely. I did for off and on for a couple of years because I really just I wanted socialization more than looking for a group you could be with. But when you're with a group, here's the idea of the group. When you're with a group, the individual can grow only as fast as the group. If you don't grow as the group grows, which can be a slower process a lot of the times, um, if you have to stay within in that circle, that thought pattern. And it got to me to be too much. Well, you didn't complete your assignment, so there was a monetary fee, so you have to pay the monetary fee. And there are no extenuating circumstances are allowed, no revisiting the structure. Now, later was introduced, but if there was something up, to visit with the leader to say, can't do this particular assignment this week, is really extra hard. Can I have an extra hour? Can I have an extra day? Can I do one thing less? Now, depend on that leader, how you spoke with them, what was dialogue, and maybe they would excuse it, maybe they wouldn't. And I just got to a place where, wait a minute, if this is about me, and if I cannot fulfill a particular assignment, this is really about me learning about me, not me learning about me and I have to pay you. And it was just a particular thing that started to rub me the wrong way because I had heard something and then I thought we were in agreement and we weren't. And that person still, from their perspective, saw me as agreeing and I didn't agree. So I basically said, no, I know who I am. And no, I'm not going to do that. And no, I'm not going to pay $12, or no, I'm not going to do that because this was about me. The assignment was about me. The assignment was to see where I was. And if I couldn't live into it, that's up to me and what I'm not doing or producing. And I'm not going to pay you because I thought I had visited with you about that issue and told you what my limitations were and told you what I expected I could do. And for me, I've made progress because I went from 0 to 3 or 0 to 4 or 0 to 2. I couldn't make it to the 6. I made it to the 5.5. A lot of the days I couldn't make it to that, whatever that goal, or 6, let's call it, because it was something that had to do with that. Basically, okay, 6 glasses of water, and I could make it to like 5.5. I could make it like to 5, 4.5, and I was so happy that a couple of days I did 3 when it was just so hard at the time for me to keep that agreement. And basically most of my life, I was a person that just drank water easily. It was not an issue, but toward 2010, it started to be an issue for me as it is now. And I'm mostly kombucha drinker, tea drinker, but I need to drink more water. Water is very good. We're 70% water. So I wanted to come on. So declaration, like there's an example of declaration here. Under the title of Ready for Confident Changing is the name of this particular study book, which is a very good study book, and I just held on to it. And there's a lot of declarations, like you declare, I declare fear has no power over me. I squarely face what I fear. This is you're declaring these things. I direct conversations to constructive possibilities. So this is out of this book. Here it is. It's called Ready for Confident Changing. It's backwards, I know. Ready for Confident Changing, a spring study book of intentions and affirmations by Toni Stone. I think her studio is Wonder Works Studio out of Vermont. That's Wonder Works Studios out of Vermont, and Toni, Toni Stone. So she does have a lot of really empowering, here it is. It's Fairfax, Vermont, and it's on, she may still be there, 401 Buck Hollow Road. So Wonder Works Studios. It's just how it sounds, Wonder Works with WORKS. And she has some, I think, really good, she could have even changed and morphed differently, but there's a lot of quotes. There's a lot of different intentions. And I highly recommend some of her work to look at because it's like they're little books they like to carry. This one's really demolished a lot over the years. I should really look at. Really, it's like whenever you're feeling low, take it out and read something, carry it with you because it's light enough, it's not heavy. You could just pick one for the day. There's really a lot of inspirational, uplifting things in here, but I got it out because it also was an example of declaration. And you may have even heard, like, if you've ever heard of Joel Osteen, or maybe the other pastors you prefer, or people who speak in declarations. And I decree a thing. As you so decree a thing, so it will be. As you so command a thing, so it will be. And what came, this is like overlapping information because it's kind of twofold. The Declaration of Sovereignty, which is part inspired by Eldora, Eldora, and she's with a husband gentleman named Simon, Simon, and they have their own channel somewhere. And I know it's been hard to find them because they got bumped off of different platforms because of uplifting people and telling the truth and giving you tools to feel comfortable at this time. I just wanted to read you mine that I wrote. I might embellish it as I speak because I've changed, but this is what I wrote. And there's also a reason why I'm reading this to you. First, as an example. In the name of truth, with the protection of, this is at the time that I wrote it. I don't know if I would write it quite the same way, but it'll just give you ideas. So I've changed too. I'm just going to read what it is so you'll get an idea. The Declaration of Sovereignty, meaning you claim and you rescind any contracts. Let's see. Yeah. So this was, I probably did this about 6 months ago, and I think I would redo it. But again, it's just an example. It's just an example, and you could go back and listen to Eldora Ray, or you could probably Google, how do I write a declaration? How do I write a decree, like spiritual decree for yourself? This is just an example. In the name of truth, with the protection of the Holy Spirit, Jesus, Violet Flame, Lord Saint Germain, 100% pure light, ascended masters, the power of grace watching over me by the armies of Michael, and the great I am. The great I am to me is God, universal mind. I hereby decree and cancel any permission I might have given for imposed hypnotism and or control of my being. Really important right now, guys. I hereby decree and cancel any permission I might have given for imposed hypnotism and or control of my being. I detract, I reject, I rescind, I dissolve and remove out of my system any and all kinds of controlling techniques that have been or may have been used any lifetime, all lifetimes, to control or harvest my energy and my awareness. This is really important. Any controlling techniques that may or may have not been used this lifetime, any lifetime, across any dimensions, across any timelines, past, present, future, any universes, past, present, future, I now let go and dissolve any remaining fear. I now let go and dissolve, I rescind any remaining fear that may have been vibrating or still vibrating within me. I ask this be done and purified by 100% pure light of the mighty I am presence. If ever I used any controlling techniques toward another, consciously or unconsciously, I now cancel it completely. I detract this completely over all times, timelines, space dimensions, past, present, future, universes. You want to take that completely away. You renounce this. I am awake, I breathe fully, easily, freely. I am out of the web of control. I am free. I am enlightened. I am resolved. I am truth. I am power of love. I am sovereign. I am grace. I am a fortress of mighty good. I am freedom, wisdom, and forgiveness. And I am happy. I'm happy. I'm really blessed. Amen and amen. And so it is. So you want to, it doesn't have to be that long. You're just kind of writing in the flow, but you want to declare, you're making a declaration, you want to decree. And I was reminded of this because I listened to about an hour and 22 minutes of an interview with Laura Eisenhower, David Rodriguez, and Elena Danan, who has been abducted several times by ETs, has physical and conscious memory of being with ETs, has telepathic information from, if it's not Val Thor, it's one of the commanders of a ship, I believe Palladian. She had been with Venusians. She has been on Venus. And I'm a little, I have to look up Venus again because I thought Venus wasn't as, it was beautiful, but maybe not as high in, and I guess I could be fed misinformation, not as high in evolution of enlightenment. But I really do like Elena Danan. I think she's a real deal. I don't think she's a. I mean, she also was an. She has been an archaeologist. She has studied different Earth goddess religions. She, if you hear her speak, you can find her authentic, or you can just, like I say, scroll away. If you don't like anything, scroll away, press delete, pick something else. You don't have to listen to me. Don't listen to stuff you don't like, or listen a little. Keep it as a feather that people are trying to bring you some semblance of real truth, real world history, and thoughts to ponder. So I would probably rewrite my declaration. I think I'll give that to you a different time. Just because I'm probably going to change that a little bit. I liked what Elena had to say about, I'm trying to think of the word she used. She said rescind, and she said, she would say, I now rescind all fear. I now decree, I let go, rescind, and I'm saying this, these are my words now. I now let go, rescind all fear. I cancel, transmute, and dissolve. I invite that which is 100% pure and holy of the mighty I am presence, the universal consciousness to guide, and direct me. I live within and without in a realm of protection, love, kindness, human greatness. I am a steward of this planet Earth. I am a way shower, light bearer. I am a destiny shaper. I am here for the intergalactic harmonization of all nations. I am here as an ambassador. So up on the heels of that, I want to bring up, and I brought it up once before, when I was 11, maybe I just had my 12th birthday, because I remember looking out this window that's right here, because I'm back in my family home. And I remember looking out the window, and I'm pretty sure I was 12, and it was probably a Sunday, could have been, because it was probably a Sunday. I was in my bathrobe that I had made. I was in high school. And I remember looking out the window and thinking, why did you leave me here with these people who are crazy? There are little lights going off. Do you see the lights flickering? No. So why did you leave me here with these people? And it's my little confirmation. And I really felt trapped or sad because I didn't like this family that I was with, who seemed to be my blood family. And I wondered how that could be. How could I feel like, well, I'm human. At the time I knew this, I was human, born into a family. Why did they switch me or leave me? Now, over all these years, there's times I've had really psychic moments and very synchronistic moments. And I used to think I could, and I honestly, in my heart, I could probably be a psychic for you. But it wouldn't be so much that I'm psychic. I'm reading, I'm hearing your energy, I'm hearing your story, I'm hearing your heart, and I'll tell you what's up. I'll tell you. Because I think it's also been easier for me to see other people, feel other people, than sometimes even my own life. But that's because I haven't been training myself too, because I just wanted to love people and fit in. And I don't really fit in, you know. So now even before I switch to the story that I might be writing about this particular palace and the takeover of a new crowned ambassador, and what seems to be going on, not going on, between all the doings at the palace in this fairyland of a what would I call it? I want to come up with a name. Give me a moment. So let me go to back about the kind of ET thing, the declaration. And so I was listening to this podcast, and at one point I kind of had tears in my eyes because on one hand it was teaching and showing we could really be doomed. If we keep choosing and don't keep our vibration high, we could really be doomed as a human race on a planet Earth. However, in my heart, there are too many people who want goodly and godliness, even if they don't know anything about galactic help or angelic help or don't subscribe to that. They want fairness, they want justice, they want goodness, they want amazing results for people everywhere. They want everyone to be freed of the chains that may be holding them, these invisible chains or these mental chains. And so what I started to hear, and I felt really supported in this, was I was reminded there are beings helping us, and they're here now, and we've come enough in our vibration that they can help us more, and that they have been. I don't think it's so true anymore that they can't just be here because of our lack of raised vibration and awareness. A part of it is a ship fleet of enterprise from the future cannot show up in the sky. While some of us will be, yeah, good, finally, take me up. Let me leave this place, or something close to that. There'd be too many other people falling in the streets, having heart attacks, fighting amongst each other, causing raids, riots, whatever, and they would lose it because it would be the sci-fi unexpected. And some people say, oh, it's the rapture, and oh, it's the whatever, and they would freak out too. And what we want is this peaceful. It's like when a neighbor moves in, for the most part, it's wanting to like have harmony. Not like the neighborhood's pretty quiet, pretty decent looking, everyone's got their own thing going, but every other house doesn't have wild parties and every single night, music blasting and no one can sleep and car races and stuff. We don't have that. We have a quiet neighborhood. So when the neighbor moves in, that's what you would like, that kind of camaraderie and wholeness. But if the fleet of ships started going everywhere, it would be a little bit like that Steven Spielberg, right? The newer version of War of the Worlds, or even the War of the Worlds, which, please, everybody, we are supposed to have viruses, we are supposed to have parasites, we are supposed to have bacteria, because this is what we are in this world. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Jump off, come off the rabbit wheel. Come off that rabbit hamster wheel. So anyway, it's actually a lovely interview. I skipped about into 18 minutes of that intro with, God bless, Miss Laura Eisenhower. The first time I've kept hearing her name over the past 6 months or so. I didn't really follow her. So many people to follow. There were other names reporters I followed. And then David Rodriguez, who I probably heard a while back, but I didn't really stay up with him. But both people, host, co-host, they were like, oh my God, I kind of was losing it. People were yelling at me today. I'd been so positive. People were upset about turn of events at the inauguration, or things not showing up the way that they had hoped. They might see some particular events of this particular story in the USA and in Washington, D.C., and they were both wobbly. And I think at one point, I was mostly listening while I was resting. It was like 4:00 in the morning here. I think Ms. Eisenhower was crying, unless she had a bad cold. I think she was crying and sobbing, not sobbing, but she was kind of like a little hyperventilating. I could be totally wrong, because then finally I was looking and it looked like she was whatever. And it's funny because she does a little thing like I study stutter sometimes, and so I was like, oh, I'm like the elderly person trying to bring truth through stuttering. So this is good. Yeah. So that was good. And I heard Elena, and Elena has her own website, and I think she's on YouTube, and you can follow I want to go back and see, because I really resonated with her. Wow. Having a lot of this lights. I like it because I have just a light here, and I have just this computer. Otherwise there's no, so I guess this is little confirmation. I'm helped, and yeah, because nothing is really flashing here. It's a bright day. I don't know. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, but I wanted to bring up also something about the story that I was telling you about. I wanted to read something for you, um, in case you will find this helpful. And I'm just going to read it. It's not my work. It's another angel. I found it on a site, Angel Wallace Facebook. It is there today still. If you want to scroll down, I believe the person who posted it is, her first name begins with Sherry. But so in my story, from what I'm going to read, and to add to my story of this possible thing, which has looks very similar to something else going on that happened yesterday. This is the story. So I know I'm at 30 minutes. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be too late, but here you go. You want to know exactly what's taking place right now, folks? Then read this and follow me. Why Mr. T has fenced off DC and why he moved out is never going back to the same palace type it was before. And why there will be a new capital elsewhere? In my story, I think I'll put the story of the new place in Florida. I like the idea of Florida. I like the idea of Texas too, but Florida is by the ocean and there's lots of golfing and you can go swimming. And from Florida, you can drive across country. It's going to be really nice. And, you know, it's just going to be a good place, I think. So I'll just make my idea of the main story that it probably moves to Florida. Plus, at the end, I'll probably do away with like lots of taxes, such as income taxes, and all the pieces will fit. I didn't see this coming the way I might address this story. So, occupying a foreign land. This is part of like true history that I'm going to include in my story. The Act of 1871 was a seditious act by the U.S. government. So, you have to do some research, but the Act of 1871 was a seditious act by the U.S. government. They secretly rewrote the Constitution from we, a big capital W-E, and smaller, we the people. So we the people. So it's we is small. We the people. And by changing the capitalization on the document to all caps. So what it would be is we the people. So you'd have all capital letters, we the people, which changed its legal binding meaning, which transferred the power from we the people to the Corporation of America. So it changed to a Corporation of America, which was centered in this old place, but it still exists right now, Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is a foreign entity on American soil of foreign states. In my writing and thinking about incorporating everything, I'll just be saying it was established through a loan from the Vatican when DC was transferred into a city-state, and this corporate entity then ruled over the people. Vatican. I know this is also somehow connected to England, so think of England, DC, Vatican, England, like a Bermuda Triangle. But anyway, just listen to this possible story and how some events are they're influencing my story that I'm writing. So established through a loan from the Vatican when DC transferred into a city-state, and this corporate entity then ruled over all the people. Mm-hmm. Citizens' rights got taken from them. Nobody realized this. And nobody realized this because it wasn't really talked about. And the foes that I would write in my story, the bad guys, they wouldn't want smart people to know. They wouldn't want people to question. They would want to keep the people busy and not really understanding the laws that were written by our sacred ancestors of 200 years ago in 1776 and the freedom after. They would want us to kind of forget, as you can if you read a long document and go about doing your life. So nobody realized this. When they did the broker deal to get the loan from the Vatican via Bank of London, I knew it, London, To get the loan, it came at a high price. They transferred all the property in DC, Columbia, to the ownership and control to the corporate entity of DC. So, Mr. T in 2008, he's another character player that would have, have something to do with yesterday in my story. In 2018, I'll have him, he signed what would be an executive order on election fraud. Ooh, hot topic. Outlining how corporate assets would be seized. And finally, just now, the first seizure has been made with the fenced containment area. And you may have noticed all the guards that I have in the story that I'm looking at, a story of yesterday and the story I want to keep writing about. With the containment area, the military have seized control of foreign country, DC. That, and that order was primarily about Washington, DC, 2018, that order that a lot of people skipped over, like certain, like in my story, certain reporters on many different news channels skipped over this, and so did a lot of people in different titles skipped over this. And so in my story, I'm bringing it back in so that anybody reading my story will remember and go, oh, really? Why couldn't I look that up? I want to look that up. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because see, in the end of my story, it's going to be good. So the reason that this guy, Mr. T, moved out away from an place where he was staying is because he can't rule a sovereign nation from a foreign land, which is where the current issue of this big house they call a White House is. So the castle is locked. Castle is locked. And of course, it's the 21st, it's past midnight. And so this guy, Mr. T, he's left the castle and it's locked. What I had heard from a lot of other people who are visiting this particular place and how it adds to my story is they did these big fences around this other big house that they sometimes call the castle or the palace or however you want to view it. So you can go in, but you can't go out because the locks are on the outside. Okay, so it's not possible for a foreign ruler. It's not possible for a foreign ruler to rule over a sovereign country. That's how I want to. I'm making my story based on a few things that were signed, and of course that means that my evil player in it, he can't undo that. He doesn't count. So we're actually, in some ways, from something that played out yesterday, we're almost watching my story come to life, where there's a reclamation of a real country. And what does it mean for the people who read my story or look at this book or this movie? Well, no more fake income taxes. That means the IRS is bye, bye. And there will be no Federal Reserve. Bye, bye. There'll be the US Treasury. But that would be in my book. And right now, since I'm getting some information from like regular reporters on your regular TV, but of course I'm not using what they say completely because I know it to be in my story. It doesn't match up. Doesn't match up. Information and knowledge becomes powerful only when used to educate and inform others of the truth according to Almighty God. Now, Almighty God can be the super consciousness, the infinite mind, the Alpha Omega, this beautiful entity which has created all things, all beings, evil or good, beautiful and dull, bright or brilliant or dark, or smallest tiny ant that bothers you, to the most majestic bird, or the tiniest tree you wish will grow, to the most beautiful redwood or bamboo. Nature is a part of us, we're a part of nature. Um, so anyway, I wanted to read this to you in my version of writing a story, and you can visit this particular story that someone was helping lend to my ideas on Angel Wallace Facebook. And that woman who was helping me with ideas, her name is Sherry. And it will start with, you want to know exactly what's taking place right now, folks? Then read this. And I sort of was getting information that way. So now we're at 40 minutes. I don't want to stay too much longer. I just wanted to let you know that since my story and what I'm telling you sounds like a story that happened yesterday, that's been happening for a while, for the past 10 months, that's been intense, really, actually just about a year. And before that, 40 to 60 years, and before that, 200 years, and before that, 3,000 to 6,000 years learning. And it's exciting. And I truly believe in my heart there are technologies that are coming, that are here, that are for us. I believe that we can manifest very, very wonderfully. So between what I mentioned about keeping things in mind as a movie, and also some laws that are really true that cannot be taken away because they were already in place when an act happened yesterday. When, how many times have you seen on your TV ever, over all the time you may be 60, 70, 20, whatever you are, did ever hear, ever know of 60 to 80,000 troops surrounding DC with an enclosure to stop? There's, just keep feather in your cap. Just be open, stay light, stay bright. Keep your vibration raised. And how do you do that? I'm going to mention some things right now. I'm going to go back and just take a look at something that someone suggested. And I'll throw in my suggestions. And I'm going to be ending this soon. So let's see. Okay. What if you don't know what a vibe is? And what if you really don't believe in positivity? And what if you don't care? Well, then you've got like this 50-50 kind of life happening, and you probably just think everything's lucky or coincidence. But sometimes, even when all those wonderful things happen, you probably say, yeah, I was just thinking that, and that really happened. Or notice how good you feel when you do think good thoughts. Not blaming thoughts that help you into feeling good, but just naturally smile. Like even you may not, it's like on the, just outside your awareness, and you're aware, wow, I really like this day and wish every day would be like this. That is part, you notice that vibe? Keep it, because that's positive. And you want to stay in a lighter version of yourself. And if you are a person that wants something to happen, let it happen. Let it, feel it into all the colors that it might feel like, whether it's a new job, new house, new relationship. Just feel it into like a feeling of how good it feels. One thing that I'm reminded of too, stay in contact with water, even if it's just your water washing dishes. Singing. Singing is good. Turn on the radio, wearing bright colors, breathing deeply. One thing I have to work on a bit more, breathing deeply. We breathe oxygen, not carbon dioxide, folks, not our old stuff that's in a blanket on our face, folks. You are sovereign, you are free, you have rights, you have choice. There is no law that says a vaccine is forced. And if it says mandatory, that is still not a law. That's a civil demand, which it's not founded by a law. A law has to pass through the House and Senate, and a POTUS has to sign it to be a law. And then you still are sovereign. You are under the law, common law of God. You have a soul. You have your own brain. You have your own right. You take control. Be the power on earth you are meant to be. Okay, so bright colors, staying in good health. That is under physical, that someone is suggesting. Spiritual, surround yourself with white light, send it out. Remember, I sometimes will mention energy can either be created or destroyed. And in you are energy in this solid form. from the heavens. You are made by agreed with by consciousness to come in the body and have an experience, but you are nothing but energy, and we can truly think lighter thoughts and create. Like, I would like to keep this house, but I would fix it up. I would just change it and love this house. But, or I should say, and I also want to be in Florida or Arizona. And I can see Florida because I just also love being in the ocean and traveling out to the Southwest, traveling out to some of the parks, in Wyoming, because this is a beautiful land. There's so much to see in the USA. I mean, having a road trip, it's amazing. It's amazing. Just know how much good you feel when you drive, like, from wherever you live into more of the country, or just in the country driving to the city and just watching how things change, or driving just a couple of states and going, wow, and feeling the difference and the grandness. But especially as you leave the East Coast to go to the center, it's so amazing and so big. It's so wonderful. It's a cool thing. So in spiritual, you want to try to turn into your invisible gods. Now, what does that mean if you don't believe in that? Well, if you're a person that kind of subscribes to hunches, go with that. If you're a person who feels like, wow, I'm so lucky, watch. See how that luck then is on the fringe of what you've been thinking or saying, or that you did one step to one step, and see how they match up. And then you'll know you're guided. Send healing, send good thoughts and prayers to people you know and don't know, because first it'll make you feel good. Second of all, it really works. On some level, they will receive it. And if they're ready, it'll be right there for them. Mental, focus on the positive. Oh, I haven't done this for a while. Write a gratitude journal. What usually happens for me is like, I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for the shower. I'm grateful for the toilet flushing. I'm grateful that you're there. I'm grateful that we're able to connect. I'm grateful that the phone works. I'm grateful I'm going to rearrange stuff and do my art today and go online and order something. I'm grateful that I can eat today. I'm grateful I can take a walk. I'm grateful my body's getting better. I'm healing. Wow. It said something else that just disappeared on me I want to share. Oh, sorry about that. It went away. So mentally, this is part of, okay, focus on the positive, keep a gratitude journal, repeat affirmations. Now, sometimes you don't believe affirmations because they seem so impossible. So start with slow ones, so short, and ones you might believe, like, I'm cute. I am cute today. Or, wow, I'm really glad about all those things I got done. Thanks. Or, I brushed my teeth. It was wonderful. Or, wow, I went grocery shopping and I met someone I knew. It was great. Affirmations. Thank you for the sky. Affirmations. You could, if you're really comfortable, you could say, thank you for that $1 million in my bank account. I love it. Feels so good. If you don't believe it, those things, then use things like, wouldn't it be nice? I'd really love that $1 million in my bank account. Feels good. Wouldn't it be nice? I would like a brand new Jeep. It's white, big tires. I love roving the country in it. Feels nice. And repeat them as best you can without feeling challenged. Now, I have a person I follow online. His name is Brian Scott. He has this YouTube channel, Brian Scott. And he has many, many audiobooks that he reads from people who are very positive. And he also has different hypnotic and frequency sessions you can read. And some are 10 minutes, and some are 20, and some are 40 minutes, and some are longer. So you could look up things like that. And the frequencies that he uses are all high frequencies in the music and behind the words to help you uplift yourself. Plus, you can just go to YouTube and Google 528 hertz, so 528 Hz, or healing frequencies on YouTube. And then you will get different videos and you can hear the ones. You want to usually stay with the 528 hertz and higher. There is some value to the 432 because that was the original resonance of pure music, rather than ones that are dissonant that have 440, which fragment and don't help the body. They cause chaos and dis-ease in the body. You can also look up what are the healing frequencies. You can look that up too, and there will be information on that. So you want to enjoy nature, art. Okay, that's me. You want to absorb sunlight, moonlight, laugh. Now, interesting, I have a hard time looking at the moon. I will probably go on some walks, but the moon, I believe, has been reclaimed. The moon, the dark side of the moon. Big bases. I understand that there's fights on the moon, fights in the earth, we don't see them the same way because they're happening at a space intergalactic level. But even the bad side knows with the fights, they if they try to do too much, number one, they'll lose the earth because they'll cause such a hole in the galaxy. All life will be destroyed or will be affected. So you want to hug? Wow. If you have someone to hug and kiss them a lot. Play with children. Shop for something that makes you feel good. Visualize the future. I've been talking about that. Associate with positive people. So there's a quote that says, and I put it on Facebook, and it's something like, well, we cannot save slaves who won't free themselves from their chains. So you got someone you're rescuing, but they won't. They're still holding on to, like, but I need that. But no. Let me take all these chains with me. You can't let go. Just like I was told, right? If you're a lifeguard, if you're trained to be a lifeguard, and you swim out to the person, you're there to help retrieve them. If they start pulling on you, dragging you, you're sinking. Two people can't drown. One has to live then. But if the lifeguard can't knock them out or shake them for a moment to I'm with you, I'm here, and they keep pulling on you and grabbing you and like, no. You have to kick them away and swim to your lifeguard safety because they're gone. They cannot see the help. Well, I know I covered some of the things I wanted to cover. I know this was really long. I just wanted to jump on and keep my word about 9 o'clock. I think that I'm probably going to try to talk a little bit every day about staying light, stay bright, and bring on something to help you stay positive with. And I think I'll end with a Tony Stone. Something really wonderful. Let's see. Producing purposeful patterns. Let's see what will happen with this. Upsets no longer have command value for me. I am an authentic expression of workable intention. I am producing purposeful results. Records from the past are no longer running the show, which is apropos. So between the story I want to make and tell you, and between the story you saw yesterday with lots of fences around certain people, you're just seeing the truth come to light. Dark to light, folks. Dark to light. Have an amazing Thursday. Do at least one thing positive yourself. Say one thing positive in a mirror to yourself. Do something kind for a stranger, even if it's just a good thought and a prayer. And do your best not to pass judgment and react. Take a breath and respond, even if it's, I'll get back to you later. My little coyote heart just loves you. Bye-bye.